Hello, Kate. Welcome to
Hello.
Fashion Exposed.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we're talking about design that moves and creating dynamic experiences.
Yes.
How can people use this theory to relate to them and their retail stores and make it affordable?
Well, I think the whole theory of design that moves is that it's about creating excitement and dynamic experiences within your store. So I think it's you can do it, I'm always about how can you do it on a budget, because let's face it, visual merchandising is always an excess on anyone's budget. It's never built in for smaller retailers in particular. So I think it's all about finding new and creative ways to create non-static window displays. Static is important as well, but I think at the end of the day, if you can find a way to maybe undress a window slowly and you change the clothes each day, or you leave one mannequin even purposefully undressed and put a sign saying, look what brand we're going to launch tomorrow, or I guess it's about creating excitement and piquing that curiosity.
Okay, so you touched on the pop-up shop,
Yes.
the mobile shop as well
Yes.
today, and something that you're quite actively involved in as well
Yes.
with the Super Cool.
Yes.
Is this also a great way to collaborate with local designers, getting them into your store, I guess getting another consumer interested in your product?
Yes, I think the best thing that we've experienced firsthand with the Super Cool is trying new things, because you have got a lot lower startup costs, and you just give things a go, you throw out the rule book. And I think rules and routine are very important for building a sustainable business, there's no doubt about that. But when you start a small pop-up shop or a temporary space, or even if you just do a concept within your store for 2 weeks, you can kind of go, what would I like to do? Here's my blank canvas, what can I do? Is there a brand you've always lusted after and you'd love to incorporate? Is there an artist you've always wanted to work with? And I think it's about kind of, good old freedom, living outside the square you live in. I'm sure they've changed that slogan now, but it's all about pushing what you know and making it more exciting, and really collaborating with interesting people, because what are you in this industry for if not to learn from others who are also creative?
What about if there's some people that are struggling with that creative element that they, might not come naturally to them?
Yes.
They're too busy with the logistics of the business.
Yeah.
How do you sort of recommend they, come up with creative ideas? Is there websites or?
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because sometimes you're more of a business person than a true creative, and it's good to have both skills, but not everyone does. I would suggest perhaps you employ someone already who's got a really creative streak and they're always wanting to do more within the business. Well, here's your opportunity. Maybe it's about employing a consultant for a short period of time and getting them on a good rate. Maybe it's about putting out a call to the local visual merchandising school who have got graduates who are looking to do internships. Maybe it's about even running a competition on Facebook to find the next visual merchandiser for your store, and there's no money in it for them, but there's exposure. And maybe their background isn't visual merchandising, but they floor you with their concept. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have a foot in the creative world to have a good idea. Sometimes it's about I always use Facebook and Twitter when we're looking for new locations for the Super Cool to put it out there and say, where should we go next? And we get a flurry of information. So breaking down those barriers of hiding what your next move is and instead incorporating your consumer is a reflective, nice, kind of inclusive way of doing things. And so I think you could potentially put out a call on Facebook and say, we're looking for some creatives to help us with our next window. Who's in, and
Yep.
see what kind of response you get. So I think it's you don't have to have that balance of both, but maybe it's just looking slightly outside the normal area to find it.
And one of those ways is upcycling.
Yes.
This has become quite a huge trend globally. What are sort of some of the suggestions that you have, and what does upcycling really mean?
I like to think, everyone's got different definitions, but I like to think upcycling is taking something that's recycling. But when the word upper tier, upper society, upper level, it's taking it to the next level. So for me, recycling is recycling in a luxe way. So go luxe with recycling, that's upcycling. And I think that a nice way of doing that is taking, a typical product that you may see all the time, but giving it a high fashion element or an element of drama, repetition. Maybe it's about the context, that it's in an unusual context. I'm amazed at this beautiful pop-up shop where they actually took their product and repurposed it in a very grungy warehouse environment. Not what you would expect, because their product is so beautiful and so expensive, but it made it accessible to a whole new brand of consumer who suddenly didn't want the pompous of walking into their store, which is right for one of their consumer groups, but this worked for another consumer group. So sometimes I think upcycling can be used in a lot of different ways. It's just limited to your imagination.
You sound like you do a lot of research. Is this something that you recommend people do on a regular basis?
You've got a lot of time and no sleep. Look, I think you should always be researching. I don't think you should have a period of time when you research. I think a good way to do it every day is just to pick a variety of blogs and subscribe to their feed burner or subscribe to their website. If Facebook's more your thing, follow them on Facebook. I just think staying in touch is good. I actually change mine regularly, so I will pick a different industry and change up the types of things I'm interested in all the time. So I don't actually stick to the same brand. I've got my favourites, but I try and mix it up so that the information I'm getting is always new and perhaps not the same that everyone else is getting. So I think, the internet makes researching so much easier than ever before.
Definitely does. Thanks, Kate.
Pleasure, thank you.